Good morning, folks. It is the end of September 2022, and we are done this particular subsystem. So this is the RCA-05. So it's the steerable wheel for the Mars rover. And we are going to now need to be able to get it figured out so that we can order parts and everything. So first things first, this little box right here, I'm going to click that and go to named views, and I'm just going to call this wheel. I can go back to that view. If I get all turned around, I can go to my name views, select wheel, and there we go. I'm all set up. So I like it like this because it just works for me. Second thing is I'm double checking the bill of materials. So all my parts are there. All my parts are numbered. You can see that I have got this set up as structured so that things that are sub-assemblies, just go, sub-assemblies are like the motor is a complete sub-assembly, and it's all by itself, and I don't need to be able to see all the components. That little arrow indicates that there's a sub-assembly. Everything else is part of this, so that's fantastic. So I want to do a couple of things here, and one of the things that I want to do is create an exploded view and a drawing so that way it's easy for me to see how everything goes. I'm going to create a drawing of this. Now I'll pick the 4 views. And of course, something's gone wrong here. I don't know why. Yeah, something's gone wrong with my drawings. Of course, I just created one a few minutes ago. There it is. So I believe you'll have to look around, but 4152 template should be available to everybody, all company users. Okay, so I'm going to need to add that to all company users so that you can add it. So 4 views, I'm going to select that. So here is the drawing. And it's got the 4 views in there. Now, it's got top-down view and everything. Based on those drawings, I can create other views as well. So I'm going to add another sheet because I think my bill of materials will be a little too messy on there. And I'm trying to keep all my sheets structured, all my bills of materials structured and everything. So that tells me all the different parts that I have. Some of the parts, basically, if it's got RCP05, so we've kind of got 2 different numbering systems in here, which is confusing. But RCP, the P indicates it's a part, RC is what the project is, 05 is the subsystem, and then that's part 1 of the subsystem. And stuff. The bearings, so 047, so that's a bearing that I need to buy. I need to figure out where that's from and everything. I've already bought the bearings, so that's not a big issue. The motor heat insert. So basically, we're going to go through that. We'll have a Google spreadsheet and just make sure that we check off what things we have and everything. I can get rid of that little note there. And I'm going to go back to the other page. So I do try to number things that are visible. So it's a little easier to see what is what. So there's my drawing. And what I will do is I'm just going to print that off so we've got a hard copy so that we can refer to it. Now, the problem is that this drawing just kind of gives me basic information. So I'm missing some stuff. So let's get that stuff figured out right now. So the stuff that I'm missing is I need an exploded view. Okay, so I'm going to add an exploded view. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this and go, okay, what? So those three parts right there, I'm going to drag them out. And I'll just pick 5 inches. So there's, and then those washers. I'm going to drag them out 4 inches. So what I'm doing here is I'm starting to bring everything out. So this, move that out 3 inches. Okay, so going back to here, I'm just going to bump that out because that wheel is so big. So that was 5 inches. 9, set that to 8 inches. And see, I can go back to each step and pull it out. So there we go. I'm starting to get a good view of this. So this step here, so there we go. So I've got an exploded view. Now, the reason I stopped there is I was looking at, there's the wheel. I'm just going to hide that. And so I was looking at this right here. So there's the wheel hub. And with the wheel hub, we've got a bunch of different parts in here. So this is where having smaller subsystems is going to make it so much easier to understand what's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by breaking down this subsystem. So I've got the washer, the hex socket, the washer, the hex socket, all of that, and the wheel. Okay, so that I'm going to create into a new subassembly. And so that's that subassembly. I'm going to switch over to that. Actually, no, I'm going to go back. And it was one of these done ones that I was working on, wasn't I? So that was the wheel that I was just on. So RCA05. Okay, so let's go to assemblies and RCA05. And I can just type RCA05. Go right in there. Okay, so the reason this seems a little chaotic, and it is, but what I'm trying to do is break this down because it's so confusing. So I want to break it into as small pieces as possible. So this is RCA05 and the wheel, assembly 1, RCA05 -01. So it's a subassembly of that. Um, and I'll give it a name. Wheel with bolts. Okay, so now that I've got that broken down, the beauty is that I can just go into the feature tree and where's our say if I select it, there it is. So just right click, switch to, there it is. So I'm just going to fix that first item, and those constraints that we had built in before, they're all there, so it's locked in place. So there's my thing. I'm going to do the exploded view now. Where's my exploded view? And so the bolts. Okay, so those bolts now I'll just stick with 5 because I've reduced the number of items in this particular thing. So that makes it a lot easier. And there we go. So there's there's the view. So that particular angle, just add that as a view. And then I should be able to create a drawing of that. And I'm just going to go for that view because I just want the exploded view. So I want the exploded view and I want to see it exploded. So that makes it really easy for me. There's my bill of materials. And I've really reduced the number of items. So there's the screws, there's the washers, and there's the wheel. So now you can see everything's accounted for. I can print that off, give it to a student. They can find the parts. They can see how they go together. And that just makes a world of difference with trying to get this all organized. Now, I am going to rename this so that way I don't need anybody else going back and trying to figure out um, what's the status of that. And I'm going to create an RCA05 folder. So let's go into here. Let's create a folder. And so that particular thing is done. That particular thing is done. So those are in the folder now. Um, and I'm going to create subfolders for everything. So there's the steerable wheel. Oops. So I'm just going to rename that. That way, as I do this, I should be able to get everything organized into the basic subfolders, and so everything should work well. So that's kind of a quick rundown on how to do that, and thank you very much.